do this all day out here, I think. G'day everybody and welcome back to the channel, and as always I hope you're doing well. Now today's video is all about this beautiful and wonderful MT-09 that I got right here and all of its drive modes, traction control modes that this bike has that comes with it. Now these new model Gen 3 MT-09s do come with a lot of tech, definitely more tech than any bike that I've owned up until this point. So I figured today's the day I'm going to take this thing out on the road, play with all these settings and see what it actually does to the bike, how it makes it feel different, all the power delivery, stuff like that. Now I figured I'd make this video and take you guys along and show you what it can do. But before we get out there on the road, I'm going to flick the camera around onto this TFT dash and we'll run through all of the different settings that the MT-09 comes with and how you can set the bike up to suit yourself so it rides the way that you want it to ride. But anyway guys, let's jump straight into it and have a look at all these different ride modes. So I'll just fire up the MT-09 here. I need the power on to get this TFT dash lit, so you might hear some buzzing going on in the background, but we can't really avoid that, we need it on. Pretty much guys, the MT-09 comes with 4 different drive modes or ride modes, shown as D mode on the TFT dash here. So number 4 is the most tame of the lot, which is what I have the bike on currently. If you're just starting out on the thing, you haven't ridden a bike this big before, maybe that's a good one to go to. It limits the amount of power the bike can give out and obviously controls the throttle input. So 3, 2 and 1 being the most intense full experience of the bike, throttle response is amazing, all that kind of stuff. And then 2 and 3 do offer the full power of the bike, but they still control the throttle input as well. You can move your way up through them as you feel comfortable. And yeah, I think number 4 might be even a rain mode. I don't think it says it in the manual or anything like that, but if it is raining, it's probably a good one to chuck it on so you're not gonna spin the wheels and end up in the bushes somewhere. But using the mode buttons on the left handlebar here, you can just toggle between all 4 of those, 1, 2, 3 and 4. And then if you press the mode button here, that flicks it around to TCS modes, so you can move them up and down. Now the TCS mode obviously is traction control modes, but under that heading of TCS you also have your LAF, which is your lift control or wheelie control, and then you also have SCS, which is your slide control for the rear. Changing the setting here on TCS mode will change all of those in the same instance. So having it on number 1 is the most invasive. You can drop it down to number 2, which is a little bit less invasive, but as I said, you change from 1 to 2, it doesn't just change your traction control, it changes the slide control and your lift control as well. But then for people who want to go a bit more in depth with all of that, you can go down to M mode. Now M mode is a manual mode, which you can go into the settings on this bike and you can change each individual thing. So you can change your LIF lift control, you can change your slide control to different settings on that. So when you're going between 1 and 2 and they're all the same, you can go to manual mode and you might not want to have your lift control so you can do wheelies everywhere. You might be able to just turn that off and have slide control still on, stuff like that. I haven't fiddled around with the manual mode, but it's there for those that want it. And then the final 4th one that you can have on the TCS mode is you can turn it off if you go into the settings. So if you don't want any of it, if you go into a track day or something like that, I don't know, I'm not going to be turning it off anytime soon. But it does offer that option if you want to turn it completely off and yeah, go on your own way and do what you can. So that's basically all the different drive, ride modes and traction control modes there. I'll just quickly jump into the settings here and show you this manual TCS setting that you can go into, and you can toggle around with all of those, the lift control, the slide control, traction control. I'm just going to leave them all at 3 because I don't play around with the manual mode anyway, but that shows you can change them to whatever you want, whatever suits you, and then chuck the thing in a manual mode and go for it. So that's your manual traction control modes there guys. But before I jump out of the settings completely, I'll just scroll down into vehicle settings here. There's a couple other things that you can play around with the settings if you need to. I haven't played around with them too much, but we'll have a quick look. First one is the BC setting. And this is your brake control setting. Controls your brake pressure using things like the bike speed, the wheel speed, things like that. But I've got mine in number 2. There's only 2 options to pick from. You've got number 1 or 2. Now the reason I've got mine in number 2, if you read the manual, which is what I've done, I haven't played around with these too much to know how they actually feel. But basically it says number 1 will work when the bike is upright, whereas number 2 works when the bike is upright and when you're cornering as well. I'd prefer to have it on number 2 so I know that the brakes are gonna help me out with the brake pressure there if I'm in the corner, come in a bit too hot and grab a little bit too much brake. It's going to help me out from locking that front wheel and ended up in the bushes on the side of the road. But it does have the option to go to number 1. I'm not really sure why you'd only want it not to work in the corners. I don't know, maybe on track days or something. I'm not too sure. But for me, number 2 is working just fine. And if you go back, also got the QS setting, which is the quick shifter settings. And you jump in there, you can turn it off, you can turn it on, so you can have it on for up shifts or off for down shifts if you want. You can have it completely off, but in my opinion, the quick shifter is the funnest thing on the bike ever. So yeah, I'm not turning that off. That's going to be on all the time. So that's pretty much all the settings there, guys. There's a few other things in there, but to do with the ride modes and the way the bike feels, that's about it. So we've had a quick look at that. Now it's time to actually get this thing out on the road and play around with these settings and see how it makes the bike feel, see how it actually changes the throttle response, all things like that. So enough chit chat. I'll get some gear on, we'll get out on the road, guys, and see how we go. Here we are, out on the road. Beautiful sunshine day. It's perfect, man. Perfect weather for riding. So I just did about 20 minutes from home to here in D mode number 4, which is the most tame one, as I said earlier. I've done all my riding since I got this bike. It was on D mode number 2, and it felt fine, so I just left it as it was and haven't had an issue. But after riding 20 minutes here in 4, I can feel the difference massively on the power. Down on power for sure. Throttle response isn't as quick, and it even felt like I did a bit of freeway run up here and it felt like it wasn't revving as high, so it might even be a bit of a sort of eco mode, maybe fuel save mode. But yeah, it's pretty good. But just on this little stretch of road, I'm going to go up and back in each mode, and we'll do a couple of pulls on it and see how each one feels a little bit different. But we'll kick it off with number 4, 3, 2, and then the ultimate number 1. It is number 4, but as I said, it doesn't give you the full power, but we'll give it a go. It's still pretty quick, but look, it didn't even get over 5,000, I don't think. It doesn't rev as high. Still fast enough, you're going to get yourself in trouble, but I would almost compare this D mode 4 to my Tenere, the speed of the Tenere when I take off on that and give it the berries. It's probably comparable to that, so it's a fair chunk down on power, but it kind of felt nice riding it here those 20 minutes. If you're just commuting, you're just cruising, you're not wanting to throw the thing around and be hanging on for dear life, it's actually nice to have this mode on and just cruise. But it's still got a heap of power if you need to overtake or anything like that. Like, it's, you're not going to be going slow, you can still jam it on. Very good. Oh, someone's forgot their boat, or it's stolen. One of the two. Flick around here, go back the other way. Beautiful spot to do some testing. Back again. Yeah, I guess I was wrong, it does rev over 5,000. It actually looked when I was into it, but when you're just cruising, it doesn't seem to go above 5,000. I'm pretty sure when we get into these other ones, definitely revs a bit higher, so we'll find out. But that's D mode 4, guys. Nice cruisy one if you're just new to the bike, something this big, probably a good one to start out on. As I've already said, I think it's a bit of an eco kind of mode, but maybe even a rain type of mode with the power dialed back so you don't slip around everywhere. But that's enough of D mode 4. Get down here, flick it over to number 3, start stepping this thing up a bit. So I didn't show you guys earlier, but these are the buttons here that you change the modes with. Got the big mode button in the middle that changes from TCS mode to D mode, makes it bigger on the screen. So the one that's bigger is the one that you're toggling through, and then you just go up and down. So we're into number 3. Let this truck go past, and then we'll give number 3 a go. Obviously throttle response should be a bit better. I'm pretty sure full power should be on offer, but it'll just be still that throttle holding us back. But give this a go. definitely can feel that power back. All 900 cc's of the thing. Much quicker in number 3. I can guarantee if I didn't have that LIF lift control mode on at all just then, we would have been on the back wheel. No question about it. So happy to have those things on for me. Yeah, this number 3, I can't really tell too much difference between it and what I've been riding around on with number 2. But it definitely is a big step up from number 4. Got full power, the throttle is more responsive. It's obviously not fully there yet, but pretty close. Might not worry about running back down there in number 3. Might just switch over to 2 just here, get off the corner so I don't get run over by a truck. But definitely way more powerful than, oh, let me get neutral, come on, there we go. Way more powerful than number 4. So we'll go to number 2. I actually should see if you can do that on the fly. I figured you just have to stop, but oh, when I switch to number 1, I'll see if I can do that on the fly. There'll be another thing to find out. But here's number 2. This is the one that I've had it on since I got the bike. Woo, damn! Oh, will that ever get old? I don't think so. With a quick shifter, I don't think it will. It's so much fun, man. There's a tiny bit of difference between 3 to 2, just a little bit. The throttle, it's mainly the throttle response just feels that little bit quicker. Oh, so much fun. But anyway, that's number 2. Obviously a big step up from number 4. So one last one to go. D mode number 1. Let's see if I can change this on the fly. Yes, you can. I'm in number 1 right now. So that was very easy. You don't even have to stop. So if you're riding along and it starts raining and you want to dial it back, you can. So just something to quickly add. I stuffed up before. I said you could change the ride mode on the fly. Now you can, but not exactly how I said you could. If you're under throttle power, it doesn't allow you to change. So if you get off the throttle, just coast, you can wind through those different modes as you see there. So thought I'd add that in so I didn't see you guys a lie. But anyway, back to the ride modes. Alright guys, last one. Number 1, the full experience. Holy shit! Oh man, that is insane. Obviously that's the first time I've done a ride with the bike in D mode number 1, and holy crap, that thing is mental. Dude, this thing has so much power, it is insane. Oh. So good. So yes, number 1, there is a huge gap between D mode 1 and 4. Holy crap, it's like a different bike. 4's like someone's ripped out the engine and chucked in the Suzuki DRZ 400 motor in it, and then flicked to number 1. You got this absolute animal. Yes! Oh, I could do this all day out here, I think. So much fun, man. Oh, Now I'm not going to play around with all the other traction control stuff. I'm not good enough to go sliding around this place to see what it actually does, but it is what it is. I like to leave it in number 1, keep it nice and safe. But that's the drive modes anyway. You want it number 4, you want to have a nice tame cruisy ride, that's your setting. You want to dial it up and have some serious fun, get up into number 3, 2 or even 1, because that is mental. Like, holy crap. If I didn't have those other traction control aids on in that drive mode 1, I'm pretty sure I'd be in the bushes just there, or you know, I would have looped the thing out, because holy crap, it has some power, this thing. So that's enough fun for me, guys. That is a bit of a test done on the drive modes, and just to give you guys a bit of an insight of what settings you actually have on this bike and how they work. So as I said, number 4, nice and tame, eco mode, rain mode, and then you step it up from 3, 2, 1, different controls on the throttle response and stuff like that, but you still have the full power. So 3 is still a big step up from that ride mode 4, but yeah, go to number 1 if you want to go absolutely insane. Can't wipe the smile off my face now, guys, but it's enough from me with this video. I'm out of here. Hope you guys enjoyed that one, and yeah, get out there on your MT-09. If you don't have one, go get one. Get out there on it, play around with your ride modes, and you won't be able to stop smiling, I can tell you that much. Oh man, what a day. But thanks as always for watching, guys. I hope you got a bit out of that video. Chuck some comments down below of what you thought of the different ride modes on the MT-09, and do all those usual things. Hit that like button, helps me out massively, and subscribe to the channel as well if you'd like. I appreciate it all, guys. Thanks as always. Catch us in the next one. Ride safe. Laters.